Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to my channel Grammar Guru. In this video, I am going to teach you the most important grammar topic as far as students are concerned, that is direct, indirect speech. Friends, direct, indirect speech is so important that it is part of almost every question paper. Let it be a school paper, a college paper or a university paper, or let it be a competitive examination. Everywhere you will have this grammar part, direct, indirect speech. Direct, indirect speech is found very difficult for most of the students, even from school level to college level, because it is not taught in depth. So friends, we are going to learn here the grammar most important topic, direct, indirect speech, in all the detailed points. So friends, let's begin with what is direct speech. So normally we say a direct speech means when A, that is say a first person speaker, A talks to B, then that is direct speech, and when words are written in double inverted comma, they are also called as quotes. Now direct speech is mostly used when we are going to talk directly to a person in front of us. When B, that is the second person to whom I am talking, for example say A Datar sir is talking to someone, that is B. So in grammar language we say A is a first person speaker and B is a second person. When A talks to B and words are written in double inverted commas, then friends, it is called as direct speech. Words which are written in double inverted commas and not changed, as the speaker says, if they are kept without any change, it is called direct speech. Then a question arises, what is indirect speech? So friends, let's see, when A talks to B, that is direct speech. When this B, the second person, will go and tell C, that is the third person, then words are actually spoken by A. What B is going to do is just go and report or go and tell what A has said. So it becomes indirect speech. So in hypothetical example, we will say A is the first person speaker, B is the second person. When A talks to B, direct speech. When B will go and report to C what A said, then in that case it becomes indirect speech. I hope the matter about what is direct speech and what is indirect speech is clear to you. Now, while there is question paper, we have a sentence mostly, and in brackets it is written rewrite into indirect narration or in reported speech or in indirect speech. Names are different, the type is same. Reported speech, indirect speech are same topics. So whenever we have transformation from direct speech to indirect speech, we need to understand some basic things before we go into transformation. So the first most important point when we want to understand is that there are four types of sentences that we must be able to decipher or distinguish. Whenever there is a sentence given to you in the exam paper, the first thought or the first thing you must do is that you must find out the type of sentence that you have in front of. See, for example, there are four types as I said. First is called statements. It is also called as assertive or declarative by other grammarians. To simply understand, it is called statements or assertives. The second type is imperative sentences. Imperative sentences means, suppose we say imperatives are also called by another name orders, commands or requests. The third type is interrogative. Now, interrogative means where questions are asked, and the fourth type is exclamatory. Beyond these four types, there will be no other type of sentence that will be asked for us from direct speech to indirect speech. So, first thing we must understand how to identify whether the given sentence that you have in front of you in the exam paper, is it going to be a statement or interrogative or imperative or exclamatory. If you can distinguish it clearly, then transformation becomes easy and our answer will be absolutely right. So, I will tell you some tricks how to distinguish between statements, interrogatives, imperatives and exclamatory. First, A statement is generally a sentence that begins with a subject word, that is doer of the action, ends with a full stop. So, they are called statements or assertives. The second type is imperative sentences. Now, imperative sentences always start with a verb. Listen carefully, my dear friends. It starts with a verb means in double inverted comma, if the first word apart from somebody's name, if the first word in double inverted commas, in a double inverted comma, if the first word is verb, that is action word, in that case we say that the sentence is imperative. Imperative sentences also start with please sometimes, because every time we don't give orders, we give suggestions or we make requests. There are certain orders which are affirmative, there are certain orders which are negative. All imperative sentences, that is order type sentences, always start with a verb, but all imperatives which are negative, they start with don't followed by verb. So, if you can find out, oh, the first word in the inverted comma is verb, then it is imperative. Then the third type is interrogative. It's easy, it's a common sense thing. When you see a question mark in the end of the sentence in double inverted commas, it is interrogative. But I have to tell you, interrogative sentences are also of two types. One is called WH type question and the other is called verbal question. Any question which gets some information, which needs some information as an answer is WH question, whereas a verbal question is a question that starts with helping verb. If you have any problem, what are helping verbs? Please go to my channel and find out. There is a special video on helping verbs. So, if a sentence or a question starts with a helping verb, then it is verbal question, and if it starts with the WH word including how, then it is interrogative. There must be a question mark. Now, the last type is exclamatory sentences. It's quite easy. It starts with how or what, but ends with an exclamation mark. If you see an exclamation mark and the sentence starts with how or what, then it is exclamatory sentence. So, first step is to find out which type of sentence we have in the paper. Now, the second thing, first point is type of sentences. Now, the second point that you must know that when you write answer for direct to indirect speech will be that there are certain personal pronouns which play important role in transformation from direct speech to indirect speech. In fact, there are 24 personal pronouns and we will write them in 3 columns. The first column is called base pronoun, the second column is called the object case, and the third column is called possessives. So, let me show you. The first column that will be I, second column object case me and my. So, it will be first person I, me, my, then you, that is second person, you, your, then third person he, him, his, then she, her, then it, its, then we, us, our, then they, them, their, and in plural we must have you, your. You may be thinking, okay, we are trying to understand indirect speech and what are we learning about personal pronouns? Be sure, my dear friends, they play very important role, because in every sentence that we have in double inverted comma, there are personal pronouns and they get changed from their first person to third person respectively. So, let me quickly explain you how personal pronouns change in indirect speech. So, in the first column we have I as a first person subject. When we write an answer in indirect speech, this I first person will change to third person he or she. This me will change to him or her. This my will change to his or her. Then second person you will change to third person he or third person she. Then this you, which is in the object case, this will change to him or her, and this third person you, your will change to his or her respectively. This table you have to understand. I have shown you arrows so that we can quickly understand. So, normally in grammar we say, in a grammatical language, first person subject given in the sentence will change to respective third person. But let's not go into grammatical concepts. Let's quickly understand how it changes. Suppose we go to plural, the plural we that is in the first column will change to they. In the same way, us will change to our, they will change to their. So, if you look at the arrows carefully, you will quickly understand how personal pronouns change from direct speech to indirect speech. Once you learn this table carefully, most of the changes that we are going to make in indirect speech will be comparatively very easy. In this video, we are going to learn about the important points first, so that transformation becomes easy. So, my dear friends, let me quickly give you a recap. When A talks to B and B reports to C what A said, that becomes the direct speech or indirect speech. The second point was that 4 types of sentences you must be able to understand clearly. The third type was personal pronouns and their respective changes from direct speech to indirect speech. Beyond this, there are certain adverbials of time and there are certain helping verbs which also change from direct speech to indirect speech. Now, this table over here will clearly tell you the left hand column is direct speech, the right hand column is changes that happens in indirect speech. So, see, in a direct speech, whenever there is a helping verb is or am on this side, it will change in indirect speech to was or were. A can will change to could, will change to would, shall will change to should. Irrespectively, that means verb normally changes to past tense, especially helping verbs. There are certain words which are related to adverbs of time. They also change from direct speech to indirect speech in the following way. Suppose the given sentence has now, it will change to then. Suppose there is today, it will change to that day. But tomorrow in a given sentence, direct speech will change to the next day. Yesterday in a given sentence will change to the previous day, and ago will change to the then. So, this table will also help you because there are certain sentences where these words occur and we have to need to make certain correct changes. Once these background points are clear to you, transformation in indirect speech becomes comparatively easy. So, this is a table of adverbials as well as helping verbs which change from direct speech to indirect speech. You have to learn the changes by heart so that transformation becomes easy to you. Now, the last point that plays very important role is when we change a given sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, can we say the same words as I have spoken? Can I report the same words? Suppose father says, show me your report card. The friend is reporting this sentence to someone else, that is third person. Can he say the same sentence again? No. So, certain changes must be made. As first change, we learnt about personal pronouns changes. Then the second change was about adverbials of time and helping verbs. Now, the most important change from direct to indirect speech is that there are joining words that we need to use. If you remember, in the beginning I said that there are 4 types of sentences. First one was statements, second one was imperative, the third one was interrogative, and the fourth one was exclamatory. Do you remember? Now, I have to tell you that when we change a particular type of sentence, the joining word. So, where do we use the joining word may be a question. You know, in a given sentence, normally there are 2 parts. One part is who said to whom. That is, suppose the example says teacher said, students, complete your homework. In this case, teacher is talking to student, it is clear. So, who said to whom is one part of the sentence, and actual words spoken by the person, they are written in double inverted commas. That is what we change. And when we change a direct speech into indirect speech, we remove the comma, we remove the double inverted comma in place of that. When we remove comma and double inverted comma, in place of that, we need to use joining word. So, let me quickly tell you 4 types and the respective joining words for them. The first type that you have seen is statement. That is the sentence starting with subject, ending with a full stop. Whenever there is a statement type and when you are writing answer in indirect speech, it should be, the joining word should be that. Make sure, my dear friends, that statement only for statements and only for exclamatories we use joining word that. Many students make mistake, whatever type of sentence may be, they keep using the word that everywhere, and so the answer becomes wrong. So first statement, joining word is that. Second one is imperative. For imperative, if the order is affirmative, that is starting with verb, the joining word is to, and if the order starts with don't, which is a negative order, then the joining word is not to. Then the third is interrogative. In interrogatives also there are two types, WH question and verbal question. So in a WH question, the joining word is the same WH word with which the question begins. Whereas for verbal questions, the helping verb, before the helping verb, the joining word should be if or whether. My dear friends, be sure, if you know the spelling correctly, write whether. It is WHETHER. So for WH word is the joining word. For verbal question, whether is the joining word or if. And the last one is exclamatory. For that, the joining word is that. So friends, in this video, we have covered the important background points which will help you to transform direct speech to indirect speech. In the next part of this video, we will discuss 4 types, the special rules about it, and we will discuss one example for you to understand. For any practice exercises or notes, please check the description box. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. If you have any queries, let me know in the comment box.